Hello and welcome. I'm Ritika Jhanji Jagtiani and you're watching this very special show on this very special day, the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Over the next half an hour, we'll be looking at the massive impact created by IBM India's STEM for Girls India initiative over the last 3 years. 2 lakh girls, 1 lakh boys across 1,600 schools in 12 states of India impacted. But of course, there's a lot more that still needs to be done. But let's begin by seeing how this campaign has impacted the lives of girls across the country.
मेरा नाम नव्या है। मैं 10वीं क्लास में हूँ। मेरे स्कूल का नाम गवर्नमेंट सीनियर सेकेंडरी स्कूल झारसैतली है।
My name is Muskan Jaiswal. I read in 9th class.
मेरा नाम नवप्रीत कौर है। मैं 9वीं जमात ਦੀ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥਣ ਹਾਂ। ਮੇਰੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਗਰਲਸ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਸੈਕੰਡਰੀ ਸਮਾਰਟ ਸਕੂਲ। This is Asra from 10th class. I am studying in MGMGGHS ਨਾਮਪੱਲੀ ਸਕੂਲ। ਮਾਤਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰੇਗੀ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੋਬਾਈਲ 'ਤੇ ਚਲਾਉਣਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਡਾਥੋਨ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਰਟੀਸਪੇਟ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਇਸਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ।
SFGI के आने से पहले मुझ में थोड़ी कमी थी, जो मतलब जैसे कि मैं किसी के सामने अपने प्रश्न नहीं रख सकती थी, लेकिन अब STEM के आने के बाद मैं अपना प्रश्न सभी से साझा कर सकती हूँ।
I love computers. I really like Scratch. I created deforestation project, which is a major problem of our environment.
Navya, Navpreet, Muskan and Asra are just 4 stories from the lakhs of girls impacted by the STEM for Girls initiative. Over the last 3 years, we have helped many more discover, learn, enjoy and hopefully pursue science. 80% of the jobs of the future are STEM-based. STEM for Girls, IBM's flagship CSR program, was started to give the girls of today an equal chance to become part of the future workforce.
I interact with different people with different creativity. The people were excellent.
STEM से मेरे जीवन में काफ़ी बदलाव आया। मेरा आत्मविश्वास बढ़ा और मुझे बहुत सारी चीज़ें समझ आने लगी। मेरा मैथ के प्रति रुझान और अच्छा हो गया और मुझे मैथ और इंटरेस्टिंग लगने लगा।
STEM प्रोजेक्ट आने के बाद मैंने कई नई चीज़ें सीखी हैं, जैसे कि 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स, स्क्रैच कोडिंग करना, एल्गोरिथम और डिजिटल टूल्स के बारे में जाना है।
SFGI ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਦੋਂ ਬਦਲਾਵ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਡਾਥੋਨ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਰਟੀਸਪੇਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਤੇ ਜਿੱਤ ਹਾਸਿਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਜ਼ ਜਿੱਤਿਆ। ਅਤੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਦੱਸਾਂਗੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹਾਸਿਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ।
The International Day of Women and Girls in Science is a reminder for us to keep promoting their access to education and opportunities in science and technology. But where do we actually stand on the ground on this? Who better to talk about it all than the women in science themselves? So let's hear it from them.
That I can do science, that I can do research, that I can make, and participate in processes which look at the discoveries, which look at the secrets of nature. This actually I think I got in my education in Indian Institute of Technology, where I did my masters. And I got to do the masters because I was a recipient of a prestigious scholarship called National Science Talent Scholarship, which was like our KVPY of today. Only because of that my middle class parents could send me to IIT. So I would say that I am a beneficiary of efforts that the government actually put out, that young people should do pure science, not particularly young girls should be doing pure science. And that is the way I would love it to be, that a general effort that you do for increasing participation of science automatically includes girls. That's the future I would love to have.
How would we know whether we like it or not? And as women, generally, we should be a little okay to take risks and come into an industry that we may be a little unfamiliar with. This was also similar to what the IT industry was before, right? Which was again largely male dominated, and then more and more women started to get in there, right? So this is just following the same set of history over and over. And now we are just another industry. And trust me, we need that kind of diversity, and not just in terms of gender, right? We need all kind of people, because we are catering to them. Who is the one who's playing our game, our target audience? We need to cater to them, and who best to know that than the people who are consuming this, and someone who is in the same user persona of the players who are consuming this, right? So we need these people to actually make better content. So in fact, it's the other way around. We desperately need them, and we are just waiting for them to come.
Definitely, I think without any kind of family support, I would not have been able to be here or do this. Because certainly this was not the preferable career choice with respect to what my family initially wanted me to do. And I think I have had to repeatedly prove myself and prove no matter what, I am going to do this. And it's only then that, it became sort of acceptable. And eventually now it's reached a point where they're, very happy that I've done it and very proud that I've done it and so on. But I definitely remember the first time that my parents accompanied me to one of these rural remote locations where I was working. My father told me that if I managed to even stay here for a month and do this work, he would be, super proud of me, because he never expected me to be able to do that. And particularly, I think for women, it's a sort of challenge, because a lot of this work is you have to do it alone. Right. And it's not that you're, living at home and having the safety of coming back home every day after work or something like that, because you are living by yourself in a village, and every act of yours, whether it is the actual act of doing your research or the act of just going out shopping for your house or whatever it may be, everything is being scrutinized with this particular patriarchal view. And you're having to sort of crash stereotypes with everything that you do. So everything that you do matters, and it's a really high stakes, high pressure situation in that way.
And I think this need is partially because it's not just for the young girls. I want to remove this sentence that we are doing this to enthuse young girls. We need to train and educate the rest of the society, the parents, that everybody can do science if they want to. Just because you are a girl, it is not predestined that you cannot do science. And just because you are a boy, it's also not predestined that you can do wonderful science. And I think books like Lilavati's Daughters, books like stories that Nandita has brought out, and many such efforts are required to bring the stories of role models to the eyes of the girls and the society at large.
So we see, even girls growing up see that the people who are getting the awards, the people who are in newspapers for science, there's a I think there's a show coming out recently called Rocket Boys, which again is about space scientists in India. But it really sends out such a strong message that the brilliant people, the brilliant scientists are all men. And this does, this affects not just girls, but also young women, and everybody, and even ourselves. Somewhere we grow up with this idea that we are not smart enough, or if only 5% of girls in an IIT are only 5% of students in an IIT are girls, it means that, okay, sure, there are societal hurdles, but come on, get real. It just means that girls aren't as good at science and math.
Maybe I personally believe in today's world, right? It's maybe a little easier to do science and pure science in, say, mathematics, physics, chemistry, right, kind of a thing. But when it comes to, say, somebody has to study environmental science, somebody has to do forensic science, somebody has to do an archaeology, somebody has to do whatever, especially women doing this, which is all very rare in terms of women taking it up as their primary profession, then it is still not maybe the same case as somebody doing a data science, somebody doing a machine learning and data science in IT, somebody is doing in terms of developing, normal, I would now call it as normal stream of things, to what would I classify as special stream of science subjects, which is more difficult, right? Maybe some reflection on how do we get that into a normal stream will be, right, in my mind, to be the focus in terms of the kind of flexibility that the women might need, especially the young women who might need and who might also drop off, right, at some point in cliff level, saying that, oh, I can't do this, or I can't go above this because I can only manage everything at this level, right? That is where it gets stagnated, and that stagnation shall not be allowed and permitted. And you provide that support and the flexibility for the women to make sure that you are that providing that extra hand, right? It's an extended family approach for me.
It's time for us to head into a short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll take you across to all the stakeholders, the government, the corporates, the NGOs, and the society at large, put our minds together to come up with possible solutions towards removing roadblocks on the way towards better STEM careers for girls in our country. Keep watching She STEMs, We Win. Welcome back after the break. You're watching She STEMs, We Win. Before the break, we spoke of all the challenges that girls face towards pursuing a STEM career. And now it's time we get all the stakeholders on the issue together. The corporates, the government, the NGOs, and of course, the society at large, and come up with all the possible solutions that can help our girls pursue careers of tomorrow.
But when we look into the data, this sort of gap which states towards the gender parity, it is not so in the education sector. That already I feel the women representation is quite convincing when we see in the tertiary education level. At bachelor level, at master level, and even at doctoral level, girls are doing quite well. But when it comes to taking career in science, then there is a real long gap, and we need to bridge that gap. There is a real clear leaky pipeline.
As you rightly pointed out, in terms of the percentage of women in STEM, from a 14% of women participation in the tech space, that's a pretty bad number. And our intent is to actually increase that number to a high 30s, reaching out to the 50s, if possible, in the near future. That's the reason why we actually came up with this program called STEM for Girls, is to inspire and motivate girls of 8th, 9th, and 10th classes across all these 12 different states where we work in, along with our partners, Quest and AIF, to ensure that we are inspiring the girls of today for the jobs of tomorrow.
So one of the strategies that we used in the lockdown was with respect to, like you said, building this hackathon, which is really based on a 4P model, which is doing projects that you're passionate about, including peers that can help with collaborating around these projects, and bringing in a certain element of playfulness and building in play, because that's what young people really enjoy. If there is play, then you are much more engaged. So through the hackathon process, what we really enabled for young people was to really do a simple process of feel, imagine, do, and share. Feeling for my local environment, my local issues that are bothering me, empathizing with that kind of context, imagining solutions, new solutions to answer those problems, and sharing those stories.
So I would like to put a 4 R's here. Those R's are realize, retain, recognize, and rewards. We need to realize the potential of girl. We should make them feel that they are worth taking STEM. So the real self-realization should become within them. Then we must have the kind of avenue to retain them into science through our various perspective. That is our role. Third is recognition that they are no way less than men and they have to show their potential, and there should be proper reward system given to the girls and women. If they are doing good work, they should be rewarded properly. So Gati program DST has initiated. There is a Curie program. Many more things are there from Government of India, Department of Science.
Given the gap that exists towards what we want to achieve on bridging the STEM gap in society today, we need to get from 14 to 50%. How do we do more? And it begins with brands like Olay talking about unconscious biases, educating society, moving away from that. It definitely is about education at different tiers of India, digitizing education, getting more of girl children to experience the joy of science, if that were the right word.
Thing that I would like to say is that if we can enable teachers to experience the joy of teaching science in a way that allows all children, boys, girls, transgenders if you like, neuroatypical or not, to enjoy exploring, creating and problem solving. I think teachers can experience the joy of science with the children themselves. I think that is something that I look forward to seeing, if you're talking of scale, in every classroom.
So you look at the demand side. It's actually the student herself, her parents, her teachers, who need to be cognizant of the importance of STEM as a viable career choice for the girl. On the supply side, that's where we work, intensively. That's where the STEM for Girls program comes in, and we can convert classrooms into very collaborative environments where children can learn. Teachers are very motivated.
To extend our sincere thanks to the Rajasthan government for its unrelenting support towards making this initiative a huge success.
आज विज्ञान के क्षेत्र में महिलाओं और हमारी लड़कियों के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय दिवस के अवसर पर मैं सभी माता पिता से, अभिभावकों से यही अपील करूंगा कि अपनी बेटियों को खूब पढ़ाएं, अच्छे साइंटिस्ट, अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट, अच्छी इंजीनियर बनाएं और स्टेम के क्षेत्र में शिक्षा लेने के लिए खूब प्रोत्साहित करें। राजस्थान के कोने कोने में पढ़ रही बालिकाओं तक स्टेम की पहुंच बनाने के लिए IBM, माईटेक, अमेरिका इंडिया फाउंडेशन और कैस्ट अलायंस राजस्थान सरकार और प्रशासन के साथ मिलकर दिन रात काम कर रहे हैं। मुझे गर्व है कि इस पहल से सरकारी स्कूलों की बुनियाद और भी मजबूत हो रही है और हमारी लड़कियों में विश्वास पैदा हो रहा है। मैं राज्य की ओर से अन्य कंपनियों से भी अपील करूंगा कि इस मुहिम से जुड़ें।
While IBM India celebrates the remarkable journey of its STEM for Girls India initiative, we're also very excited to see how STEM has actually trickled down onto the agendas of other corporates' boardrooms as well.
And we are working in the 4 states with the engineering colleges, and the number of the participation of the girls has enhanced. So it shows that the backward-forward linkages of pursuing scientific and more science-based learnings in the school level help in terms of girls to pursue more career in these areas. We at the Vodafone Foundations believe in committed doing more such initiatives empowering women and build culture of science-based learning in the school. Thank you.
And in the case of the private sector, and I think in the case of MasterCard specifically, we believe that our role is not only to provide financial support to achieve this vision, but also critical technical assistance, and I think most importantly, examples of our employees, and what studying STEM can really unlock for the girl child. And so we're excited that with our partnership with American India Foundation, we have reached over 110,000 girls across urban and rural geographies in India.
We become, or these students become, I'll say, creator or innovators of solutions rather than just consumers of solutions that other people are creating there. And in this particular context, what we are trying to do, and we have started our work since last 5 years or so, focusing on 150 plus schools, working with more than 100,000 students, where the aim and intent is that bring in the whole creativity, bring in the whole curiosity, bring the whole collaboration and communication there, bring the whole element of demystifying science and maths in a way that students start using the principles of these subjects to create solutions which can not just benefit them as an individual, but also benefit the larger community in which they all are located at.
We as IBMers work as volunteers and work with girls across schools in the country, showing them science demonstrations, working with them in science camps, and telling them technology need not be feared. It is something which can be a friend. We give them the skills right from the start so that they are future skills ready. We are preparing them for the jobs of tomorrow. We want them to rise high and pick up careers which can bring them dignity, self-esteem, and self-respect. I'm proud of what IBM is doing for the country and for the STEM for Girls initiative.
Science and technology are critical towards advancement of a nation. But then remember, no nation can go forward without its women and girls. So we all need to collaborate. The corporates, the government, the NGOs, and most importantly, the society at large, so that we support the next generation of women in STEM, so that they go on and make history and further become role models and inspire our girls of future. Remember, when she STEMs, we win.